This is USNH Naples Hospital Hotspot with Lieutenants Kate Rooney and Kyle Brown. Brought to you from the atrium at US Naval Hospital, Naples, Italy.
Good morning. Today is Monday, December 16th, and I'm Lieutenant Kate Rooney.
And I'm Lieutenant Kyle Brown, and welcome to this week's edition of USNH Naples Hospital Hotspot. We hope that everybody had a good weekend. I don't know about you guys, but we tuned into the Army-Navy football game on Saturday. It was a great game. And if you picked up last week's edition of the Panorama on Friday, you would have seen the hospital's photo, our spirit spot, throwing our support to Navy. It's Captain Palmer there, our commanding officer, and several of our staff members. So that was fun. And in addition, you can catch our USNH Naples drill team. There's a photo of them in Panorama from last week as well. They performed at the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Ceremony down at Capo.
Last week was actually a busy week for the drill team because they had also performed during our Wednesday special colors in honor of the Pearl Harbor attack as well. In addition, in the Panorama, you can catch spotlight articles on several of our hospital staff members, including Lieutenant Commander Sanko from the Optometry Clinic and HM3 Clausen from Staff Education and Training. Be sure to pick up this week's edition of the Panorama coming out on Friday for tips on healthy travel during the holiday season. Now, without further ado, Lieutenant Brown has this week's In the News.
Thank you, Lieutenant Rooney. On Thursday, USNH Naples frocked nearly 4 dozen enlisted sailors to the next pay grades. This was the largest advancement group in the hospital's recent history. The ceremony, which was held in the Support Site Theater, was attended by many of the hospital's staff. Commanding Officer Captain Matthew Palmer commented on the show of support.
It is great to see so many people here today. My gracious sakes. When I look out, I'm looking at folks in uniform, and I'm looking at folks in civilian clothes. And I'm looking at one family. So our active duty family members that don't wear the uniform but serve with us, and all led to this incredible momentous occasion for these bright young stars down here. So fantastic.
Last week, the Naples Area Nurses Association hosted a health professions career fair for students from Naples High School. Representatives from various professions were on hand to answer student questions and provide career guidance. Ms. Hall, the high school nurse, notes the importance of the relationship between the school and the hospital.
I feel that we're very fortunate that Naples High School has a good relationship with the U.S. Naval Hospital. In the past, with career practicum students, they've been able to follow and shadow a pediatric, either a nurse, as well with the family practice. Other specialties have opened up the doors tremendously to all the students. This year we have the HOSA chapter, which is new, Health Occupation Students of America. There's students or high school students from 10th grade to 12 that are interested in health careers. The opportunity to be able to walk over and speak to different professionals or careers in the health careers for students is outstanding.
USNH Naples recently hosted its annual Process Improvement Fair. Staff members submitted over 30 process improvement projects from all throughout the hospital. The projects were presented in the atrium and prizes were awarded to top performers. HM2 Jaden Sandy spoke with us about why ongoing process improvement is critical to the health of the organization.
The importance for the PI Fair to have for this hospital is improvement is a good thing. Change is always a good thing. And I know the hospital has been doing great for the past couple of years. We've been doing great with the processes, procedures, but no matter how small issues are, these things help us pinpoint plans of action that we need to do, that we need to follow in order for us to better the procedures or the processes that we are doing right now.
That's all for this week's In the News. Lieutenant Rooney is standing by with On the Calendar.
Thank you, Lieutenant Brown. As we enter the heart of the holiday season, we'd like to remind community members that the passport office will be closed starting on December 18th and lasting through January 10th. The closure will affect general passport processing. For questions, please contact the Patient Administration Department at 629-8224. Are you thinking about your New Year's resolutions? Well, if you're looking to discover a healthier you in 2014, consider joining the USNH ShipShape program. A new session will begin on January 16th and will last for 8 weeks. For more information or to reserve your spot, contact our Health Promotions Department at 629-6445. Hospital Hotspot will be taking a break over the holidays. We'll be back with our next episode on January 13th. That's all for On the Calendar. For this week's feature, we're going to go to Medical Homeport, where Lieutenant Brown is standing by with Lieutenant Fiddler. Lieutenant Brown?
Thanks, Lieutenant Rooney. I'm here over in Medical Home Clinic. I'm with Lieutenant Elizabeth Fiddler. She's a nurse here in the medical home, but she also serves as the nurse liaison with the TRICARE Nurse Advice Line. And she's here with us today to share some information on the Nurse Advice Line. Thanks for being with us this morning on Hotspot. So the Nurse Advice Line is a resource that's available to all of our beneficiaries here at the hospital. And a lot of people may have heard of it mentioned or seen a commercial. But for those who don't know, what is the TRICARE Nurse Advice Line?
That's a great question. A Nurse Advice Line is available to anyone who can receive care in this hospital, which is different from the states. It's usually a TRICARE benefit only, but it's available to our retirees, DOD members, contracts, as well as the TRICARE Prime and Standard.
So essentially anybody that uses the hospital services on a regular basis would be eligible to use the Nurse Advice Line.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a great place to ask that question, are my symptoms okay? Or if you have questions about medications, how often you should take them, or if you're trying to dose medications for your children, like Motrin or Tylenol, that's a great one.
Okay.
Or if you're concerned that something may or may not be an emergency, you can get care at home advice, or the nurses can recommend that you are seen by your doctor or the emergency room.
Wonderful. Now, is this a service that's only available to folks after hours, or is this something that anybody could call any time of the day for advice?
Right. So this is a 24/7, 365 kind of thing. So even if it's the middle of the day, you just have questions and they can't wait, or if it's Christmas Eve and you have that nagging question, you can call any time of the day or night. The nurses are standing by.
Wonderful. And now, how do people go about contacting the Nurse Advice Line from here in Naples?
So we do have the number. It's available on the board behind the booking clerk's office.
Okay.
It looks like a strange number because it looks like not enough digits, but it is right. It's the 800-877-660 number. They're also available on little business cards all over the hospital, and it talks about other reasons why you want to talk to those nurses. And you can dial that even if you're on holiday in a different country. You can call that as you would a number for outside of Italy.
Okay, and that's important because I understand that when folks call it, they're not necessarily calling the Nurse Advice Line here in Italy, but this is at the TRICARE Service Center in Germany that their call is directed to. But that doesn't mean that you don't receive feedback as the medical team here in Italy. So can you talk a little bit about the feedback that would happen if a patient of the hospital here in Naples ended up using the Nurse Advice Line?
Right, so every phone call has a transcript produced by the nurses at the Nurse Advice Line, and that is accessible to the primary care team here in Naples. So if, for instance, a nurse in the Nurse Advice Line recommends that they're followed up within 24 or 72 hours with their primary care team, the nurses here would pull that information the next business day and verify either that appointment was met, the patient was seen in the emergency room, or assist them with booking that appointment.
Great. So that means that patients who use it and may have been recommended for follow-up with their primary care or went to the ER should maybe expect a phone call within a few business days from a team member actually here in Naples to follow up on that call. So that's wonderful. Well, it seems like TRICARE Nurse Advice Line is a great way to reduce unnecessary visits to the clinic or unnecessary ER visits. So thank you for being here with us this morning on Hotspot to give the community members the information.
I'm happy to help.
Great. Lieutenant Rooney, back out to you in the atrium.
Thank you, Lieutenant Brown. That's all for this week on Hospital Hotspot. From the leadership and staff here at USNH Naples, we wish you a safe and healthy holiday season. We'll be back on January 13th with our next episode. Until then, for USNH Naples Public Affairs Office, I'm Lieutenant Kate Rooney, and we'll continue to lead the change to better health.